everybody? We got another video. It's XDefiant. As you may or may not know, they had a recent test session that we got to play and just test out their new netcode and just see how well the game's progressing. This is supposed to be the final test, and then the game's going to be coming out here hopefully this summer. Keep my fingers crossed. But I wanted to have a video of just my thoughts about it. Some pluses, some minuses, just my kind of final thoughts on how I feel the game is going. And so that's what this video is really going to be about. We're going to start with the positives and then get into the negatives. I don't want this video to be too long, so we'll kind of quickly go through the positive stuff. The first thing, as I mentioned in my other video of XDefiant, I still think the maps are great. Being objective based, I feel like the maps are very well laid out, and I just think they are really what make this game strong in terms of playing well. Again, the fast-paced arcade action, I enjoy that type of gameplay, and as someone who hasn't really played Call of Duty anymore, this is really kind of substituting that role in that void and not having that type of just quick jump in, play some fun little gameplay of first-person shooter, and that's what I'm looking for, and it does that really well. And then one of the last things in terms of positives, I feel like it's very well balanced. Last time there was a lot of unbalanced stuff when it came especially to the people's abilities, the faction powers, the Libertas. I mean, their healing was way too strong previously. I think they fine-tuned that almost perfect. There's still a few little things I feel like they'll probably have to tweak, and I'm sure as the game goes on and they add more factions with new abilities, they'll be tweaking stuff again. But it felt really balanced. That's the really only positive things I'm going to say, because I don't want to go too far into depth. I still think the guns are great. I love being able to have the ability to customize them, and they not overwhelming type of gunsmith type of thing. All of that stuff, everything's the same. The game hasn't really changed much from the previous build, so I don't feel like I need to go that far into the things I like about it. I've already touched on those things. Now, going into the negatives, I want to be a little bit more in depth, and so the first thing I'm actually going to talk about is this netcode. It's definitely still not perfect. They kind of compared it to having a really old guitar that was perfectly tuned, and now they had to upgrade to a new guitar, and now they're still having to tune it and get it just right. So they're working on it. That was the whole purpose of this test. But the thing that I felt was the best comparable to was the original God of War, where if you were the host, you had a significant advantage over everybody else. It just felt different, and that's what this felt like. It felt like when you had a good connection, everything worked. People died on time. There wasn't being killed around corners. Bullets felt like they were hitting. There was no ghost bullets. It didn't feel like anything was off, and it just felt smooth. But those times where it wasn't, you could instantly tell. And it was weird because when I played by myself, I didn't notice it that much. But when I played with other people, it was very noticeable. So I don't know if it was an issue with not knowing which server to connect to, or some type of matchmaking system once you have a party, because I do know the party system was something they were also trying to fix. Maybe that had something to do with it. But that just was so obvious when it happened. When I played with Corbin, it was every other game. For 5 games in a row, it was, man, this feels great, we're doing good. Even if we didn't win, but it felt like everything was perfect. I was getting my averaging kills, averaging deaths. Like, it was just right on. The very next game, like, I couldn't get a kill if I tried. I mean, I would instantly have 10 less kills, just the drop in productivity, and it was nothing I did different. It was just felt like the time to kill just changed. Whether it was like before, it would just be what you felt was right, and then all of a sudden it took longer and you were dying faster. Like I said, it just was that type of feeling, and it doesn't feel good. I know they're tweaking it, I know they're working on it, I know this was the main purpose, so I'm very hopeful this will not be the case. I'm assuming this is also tied in with all the reports of being shot behind corners. I didn't have that many issues with it. Yeah, it happened, but I also did it to the other people, and I know exactly how it is. Is like you can still see very small sections of people, and they will dive way behind the corner. I don't know if it's some type of hit detection thing, but I wasn't too upset by those things. It's more that the whole game experience of the full game of feeling like you can't do nothing and there's nothing you can do. So that was my number one thing. The other one is spawns. The spawning, and mostly this is in Domination, which is the mode I play. They always are worried about being spawn trapped, and they always are worried about flipping spawns too fast. This was spawn trap hell. I cannot tell you how many times we only had one spot. We weren't even able to get out of spawn because I was spawning within 10 feet of a bad guy in our spawn because they weren't capturing it. They were just waiting for us to spawn. I mean, I even had once on the map Liberty, they were capturing our only flag. I spawned in right beside our base. I killed the guy, and then I died because there was a guy 10 feet to my right. And then we started spawning mid-map once we had no bases. I can't do that. You have to be able to have a relief spot. I don't care if I spawned in the middle of the map, if they're pushing like that. Like, I don't care if you spawn me and flip the map and put me over on A if they have C or whatnot, or if you want to put me in B. You have to give me a safe spot to start, and that I hope they really tweak. Every game goes through this. Every Call of Duty every year does this, where the spawns are horrible. They have to find the sweet spot. So again, I'm hopeful, but man, that was noticeable. If you got spawn trapped, you were really hurting. The last thing I'm really gonna focus on are the bugs, and I don't mean like big breaking bugs, but the last year there was like no bugs, like nothing I can recall of big noticeable things, and in this one, multiple things. Before the test even started, they took away the spider bot for the DeadSec faction because it's every once in a while, apparently, when it grabs someone's face, it would pull them through the map and out of bounds. Okay, that's a bug. They know about it. They'll fix it. It's disappointing, but at least it's something. And then, all of a sudden, the Echelon invisibility glitch hit, and it just felt like it almost ruined the weekend because that was the class I wanted to try. That was the class I felt like I needed to figure out how to play so I could be effective with it. And then the first night, the invisibility got taken away because it was causing permanent invisibility. But even after they took it away, it was still happening. I played multiple matches where the person was invisible, especially in Hotshot. If you became the Hotshot, you instantly were invisible if you were Echelon, even if you didn't have that power. It was really bad, so they had to take away the whole faction, which again just was really frustrating because that was the class I wanted to play. So there's that, the spider bot, and between those little things that kept popping up and all these little things that I don't remember happening before, that was kind of disappointing. I know there's always going to be bugs, but for a game like this where they said they didn't change anything, it felt like a lot changed. And kind of going off of that, they changed the menu, they changed, how you pick your faction, which I'm not a fan of, to be honest. I think you should be able to pick your faction on your main menu. When they start adding a lot of factions, I don't know how you're going to be able to pick which costume you want, and that's just going to get cluttered. That's a nitpicky thing at the end, but there you go. That's everything I got for today in terms of my thoughts. I'm still going to play the heck out of this game. I'm still waiting for this game. I'm excited to play this game. But at least you know what I kind of felt about this test. And I hope I catch you guys next time. So until then, hang in there. Later.